Guys who received unsolicited female nudes, what happened?
Me. A female friend sent me nudes. My therapist. Is this female friend with us in this room right now?
I found out they'd been sent to me in error. I was happy until my co-worker saw them too.
My best friend started sending me nudes. It was a weird experience and, on reflection, probably didn't do our friendship a lot of good. Having said that, I missed it when she stopped.
She said it was an accident and meant for someone else. So I said no problem, I won't look at it, and I'll act like it never happened. Since it was obviously meant for someone else, it very obviously was not meant for someone else. She was just trying to act like it was an accident. Anyways, months later she admitted it was on purpose and asked if I liked her as more than a friend.
We got married.
I pounded off to them, as a gentleman should.
She wanted me to buy her of. I said no. She blocked me. That's what always happens.
Her. What are you doing? Me. At the dinner table with my parents. How was work? Her. Sends photo of herself, taken from behind, by someone else based on the shadows. Naked on 3, 4 fours, one hand reached back, W4 fingers all the way in her ass. My mom. Looking at my phone after seeing my panic face. Flash. Oh, she seems nice. But who took that picture?
So I have a decent story here. Still haven't figured out the scam. A while back I received about 10 photos from a random number, but it was a girl I recognized. The text said something like, "Oops, I didn't mean to send, please delete right away." She was a friend of an ex I had dated several years before. I wasn't friends with the photo girl on FB but did the appropriate search through mutual friends to confirm it was her. What I noticed that was weird, there were 2 numbers in the text message, and it was sent to both an ancient work number and my personal. I know my ex would have had both numbers saved back then, it was before I went to one phone. So someone hacked the girl's phone and then sent it out to all the contacts on my ex's phone from a random number. Anyways, I kindly messaged the girl via FB that I somehow had received photos of her and she probably needed to do a full reset on her phone and change passwords. She was married and had kids by this point. She was still very attractive, so it was a bit of a nice surprise, but deleted them promptly after careful examination. If she had them texted out to a massive group of contacts, I can only imagine the horror she was going through. I tried to be as nice as possible.
A friend from college hit me up out of the blue, asking how life was going, etc. I talked about my job, wife and kids, real surface level conversation, nothing out of the ordinary. Then she sends me a picture with her tits out. I was like, alright, well, cool catching up with you, take care. Deleted that and told my wife about it several years later once the statute of her going nuclear on. This girl wore off, we both know her, we all went to the same college. When I told my wife about it, I didn't tell her about when it happened, but agreed that I made the right call. She knows herself pretty well. Ultimately, I was that someone would think so little of my character and have zero respect for my wife like that. Shoot your shot or whatever, but not on people that aren't in the game. I don't judge, but at least test the water first. Don't burst into the room tits ablazing. Are women doing that?
I got totally unsolicited and unexpected nude snaps from a girl that I knew suffered from BPD. She was gorgeous but kind of a mess. She sent them to me at a really awkward moment, where I was around a bunch of people, so I quickly clicked past them once my brain connected what I was looking at. I complimented her, because I think that's what she wanted, but I really don't remember what they looked like.
I told my mom to please change my name on her phone to a nickname. Me and my dad have the same name.
I always think I'd like to get unsolicited nudes, but then I think it would probably be not from the kind of girls I'm into. And then it would be awkward to try and think of something nice to say.
A friend just got nipple rings and she wanted to show them off. She knew I liked boobs and would appreciate the photo one and only time it's happened.
Always turns out to be a dude pretending to be a girl.
It's always a preview for her OnlyFans account. I just get disappointed and block them. Wish a girl would send me unsolicited nudes, because she finds me attractive instead of wanting my money.
TL, drive, we did the devil's tango, and it was the worst sex I've ever had. I was a poor kid in college, didn't have a lot of money, considered myself very average in most places. A girl then started flirting heavily with me and sending unsolicited nudes. I am a very private person, so I had never even shown her my face. She only knew me through Facebook, which made her sending nudes very weird to me. She wanted to meet up, but lived like 4 hours on the train away from me. And I couldn't afford that since I was broke and in college. She told me that she'd cover the transport because she was rich dead uncle inheritance. She got like to okayest from that. She did. And I arrived at her station. We go out for a few drinks. Her friends randomly joined. We played some card games and in retrospect, that was probably the best part of the night. We went back to her place to catch a movie and I love shitty movies like Sharknado, Pam and my favorite, Sharktopus versus Werewolf. All those terrible ones, and so she knew that and suggested we'd watch Sharknado. I obliged. During the movie, she randomly just throws her head onto my stomach and demands cuddle me. At this point it should be mentioned, she was nice, but there were parts of her I did not find attractive at all. She was very abrasive and loud. She had this fuck you or fuck people shit men attitude, and so I would have been fine just continuing as we were already, but she tried pushing it to a degree I wasn't interested in, but not knowing what else to do. I just decided to stroke her hair and she began making noises like she was enjoying it. I've never really felt any pleasure from people touching my hair, so I can't relate to how a lot of women seem to derive pleasure, whether sexual or non-sexual, from people stroking their hair. Not understanding it, my instinct is to explore. So I pull her hair, stupid mistake. She got very horny from that, and we begin making out and undressing. When her panties came off, I get involuntarily. I understand that this is a sensitive thing, and when someone puts themselves in a vulnerable situation with you, you ought to be respectful. So don't comment on their bodies and don't gag. But this was an instinctive, involuntary gag. It smelled rotten, which is weird because she showered 3 times a day later. I learned that this may be due to those showers causing an imbalance. We did the sex, and ahead of time she warned me that she was very sensitive down there, which I found out to mean that she came very fast. She came in like 20 to 30 seconds and asked me to pull out while it happened, and then I could continue when it was over. I oblige and re-engage after her orgasm was over. Another 10 to 15 seconds, another orgasm, and every time she came I had to wait like a minute. Doesn't take long for my jank to go soft because nothing was really happening. So I excuse myself as I sit on the foot on the bed, gag again because now I'm closer to her nether region, and again, it's involuntary although I tried to hide it. Go wash off and continue the movie. She then tells me she's sorry about the sex because it was her fault. I wasn't really interested in casting blame, but I just told her it's nothing to worry about and that it was nice anyways, and she wanted to blow me to make up for it. She did, and it was great, but I couldn't come from it, which I don't know why. Nothing was wrong. She got tired and I guess she got sad by me not being able to come from that, but it felt nice. So what's to complain about? We continued watching the movie. Next day, I went home and she gave me a bottle of whiskey to take home, Jack Daniels. She had bought it because she liked the brand and found it cool, but when she tried it, she realized that she hated whiskey.
Apparently a guy has been going to the club, picking up women and giving them my number instead of his. So occasionally I'll get nudes from drunk 20-somethings. This has been going on for about 7 months, and kudos to him 'cause these are beautiful girls and all, but I am sick of explaining that my name is not Chris and I have never been to California.
Unzipped.
She sent them to me by accident. She broke up with the correct person a few months later. I took her out after and we dated for 4 years. Then we broke up and she then got pregnant by a 15-year-old a few months later. I was 16, she was 18 when we started dating. So, it was a weird relationship, lol.
Like that ever happens. Are you spinning the yarns again?
This has never happened to me. I compliment their fine physique.
Wasn't full or nude, wasn't quite unsolicited, but didn't ask for it either. Was fooling around jokingly with this cute girl I randomly met on Twitter. I still don't know how. Lol. She sent me her nude sitting without panties, but with one arm across her titties, and just said, "Here's something for you, Anon. Just PLZ, don't share it with anyone." I respected her wish. Not sure if I still have the photo, but it'll remain in my mind forever. Innocently sexy as fuck.
Stage. It happened back when I was a student working for a mobile manufacturer, pre-iPhone. I was working at the end accepting tests. We flashed/booted phones and set in a SIM. Tested everything before they press OK and create 100,000 for an operator. So I got a nude sent to my test phone with a text saying she wanted me at her place. In our native language my reply was, "I'm sorry but you might have sent it to wrong person. I'm not available but I got 20 other male students around me." And asked if she wanted me to ask them. Just got a reply with, "Oh God, no. Sorry, please delete it."
Hell froze over.
Why is every question on this subreddit sexual?
I don't think I'm who you meant to send those to, but thank you.
I'm minding my own fucking business.
Went on a date with someone I asked out after class to coffee and she said yes. Later in the middle of the night I started getting nudes on Snapchat. Was kinda crazy. They were like directly of her foo-foo. I didn't really know what to do because I don't send nudes anymore. She was also the kind of person I would have never expected to do that, very type A and organized. Anyways, we banged twice and I dipped because I was very much not ready for dating after the anxiety started to build between us. I had cheaters PTSD from my ex, and the minute she didn't text me for 2 days I started to freak out like something else was going on. She also had a few qualities I didn't vibe with, very negative outlook towards things when it was just us talking. I don't need a saint or anything, but being around her was depressing, which is a bad sign. Regardless, taking a few years off from dating and relationships was the best thing I ever did. I became someone who is worth not cheating on.
Usually ends with a link to her OnlyFans. I think I only got them from the women ever. I had sex with both of them, not at the same time.
Sounded hot when I heard others getting them, but when it happened to me, I lost interest in her.
I was awkward and didn't know what to say, so I said this is the best thing I've seen today.
Yeah, a girl I talked to on Endoff asked if I was a ass or tits man. I said ass, then bam, one Snapchat notification later.
Got a sudden MMS from an ex, with a close-up of her spreading her labia. She had a distinctive birthmark on her left index finger, so there's no doubt. No text attached. Fast forward 3 hours. She texts, "Oops, didn't mean to send that to you. Sorry." Didn't reply to that either.
You guys getting nudes?
I woke up.
My brother-in-law has this group WhatsApp with all the dads and moms from their children's school. Class, one of the moms sent like 8 nudes of her in this group chat by mistake. It took her about 10 minutes to realize her mistake. By then it was too late, and all the dads and moms knew how slutty she was.
That has never happened to me, but people might mistake my phone number of 111 fake 1230 for to the 111 fake 1243.
Me, you receive unsolicited female nudes?
She lost her job for sexual harassment. The nudes weren't the only thing, of course.
Wait, y'all are receiving unsolicited nudes, 0.
She sent me a pic in her bra because she just got a nice new one. My dumbass complimented that it was indeed a nice bra, without realizing that she was indeed trying to get my attention, lol.
I woke up.
There were fresh surgical stitches, all undoubtedly recovering from anesthetics at home, accompanied by a completely unexpected invitation to drop on by. If I had 3 fewer brain cells, I would have hailed a cab. It was the most surprised I'd been, but I've no regrets, other than the fact that the phone was destroyed shortly thereafter before I could back up my data. I had an awesome blonde redhead lab bootleg on the phone that's lost forever.
Once, she said it was an accident, but I don't really believe her. Anyway, it was an explicit video of her. I replied WTF to it. She apologized and said it was meant for someone else. I said all good, let's forget about it, and we did.
It was more like oh wow okay, but also I wanted to jump off a bridge given the fact we were only friends and she had a boyfriend. She took me as a shoulder to cry on. Every time she got her period and began ovulating I just started to get more and more nudes plus stuff I shouldn't have even been seeing. We stopped talking altogether cause it was a little too overwhelming.
I'd probably marry her. This has never happened to me, at least the first one.
Not a guy. My brother got sent a nude once. Unfortunately received it when we were watching a movie at home and I was seated behind him. It's not like I meant to look, but you see what you see. I gasped and he looked back so fast I thought he'd snap his neck. Silent promise not to tell anybody. Nobody Earl knows my Reddit, so this is fine.
Ha ye behoda haikia.
I was polite, thanked her. Said I was seeing someone so it wasn't appropriate. I should have made it clear it was a consent issue. But it wasn't worth the trouble. I've also had a woman share home. Ironically, one of the people it was shared to was the same friend from the above. Police didn't give AFK.
I was talking to a friend and I asked her what she was doing, and she said sent a pic of her in a towel and said, just out of bath. And I jokingly replied drop the towel, not thinking anything else of it other than a little cheeky message. Well, she did, and she sent me the resulting images. I had her, and sent her one back with the end result saying oops.
I woke up.
I blocked yet another spam bot on Discord, Reddit, and so on. Man, I feel like 95% of DMIs I get on here are OnlyFans ads.
My GF at the time opened the accompanying zip and proceeded to install the included X. This was back in 01 when people sent viruses via X files. Needless to say, she realized what was going on, albeit too late, but had the grace to fess up. Luckily, no damage was done and I earned a redeemable ticket, and I changed my passwords lol.
She was drunk and had accidentally sent it to me instead of her husband. She's a Kate Hudson lookalike except prettier blue eyes. And when I opened the snap to see her playing with her titties in the mirror while holding her phone, my jaw dropped. I had wanted to hook up with her since my college days, and actually seeing her naked was a great surprise. Sadly, it caught me off guard and it deleted before I had a chance to save it. Our friendship was already on the skids by then, 100% my fault. And for obvious reasons, she didn't feel like sending it to me again.
Didn't buy her subscription lol.
Yay, that never happens. No one gives a shit about me enough to send anything lol.
I jerked off.
Block the girl. I'm a man of a culture, you see.
GIRL guy in real life.
Bunch of weird losers here.
It really did cheer me up. I was just venting though. Literally does not happen.
It happens more than you think.
One time that stands out to me is they were my friend and just sent them. I didn't like what I saw and had no feelings for them and became grossed, weirded out. They were from a girl on Reddit, so it was not a pleasant sight.
Had a girlfriend at the time that she knew about, told GF what happened, told Sandy to piss off and stop being a creep. Guess she thought any guy would go for infidelity on account of some iPhone nudes. She was unstable and went hard on partying. No judgment I did to back then. Non-optimal situation made me feel gross and cheap, would not recommend.
Ended up in a relationship with one, but she was terrible so it didn't last long. The other was drunk when she sent, so I deleted it.
I downloaded them and locked them away for later masturbatorial use, especially if I knew them, especially if it was an error.
I was happy. I love bold people, especially females. We grew up together. And after spending an afternoon together discussing life when we hadn't seen each other for years, kind of being playful, but not all the way sexual. As we watched TV on her bed, she invited me back over and sent me a large collection of all kinds of nudes. There were so many from so many times it was a bit of a letdown. Knowing she didn't just take the one for me. Let down, but let up all at once XD. Mostly let up. But in a sexual way. If it were just a couple from that day, I would have felt romance and intimacy. From the action.
That was nice gift from my sisters.
I have an ex who for the past 3 years occasionally, out of the ether, sends me nudes so that I realize what I'm missing out on. I'm totally heartbroken about it every time.
I have no idea. It's never happened and never will, so I guess, probably be shocked.
After our first date, she sent me a picture of the underwear she wore during the date. I can't remember my reaction, but then I got my first nude. I just froze up. I was baffled, confused, and in love. Second time we met, she started being more intimate. Again, I was confused, scared, and completely froze up. She got bored and left. He stopped talking. Anxiety and insecurity is a bitch, but she ultimately wasn't the right one anyway. This was my first time ever dating anyone.
The first time was when I hit front page most viral on Imgur. Apparently during those times this made women send their nudes to you and I was pleasantly surprised. The second time was a girl trying and failing to catfish me. This was during the time I worked as an ethical hacker. So yeah, thanks for sending me someone else's pictures, I guess. All the other times weren't unsolicited.
She really got my attention and had to schedule a fuck with her.
Never received one. Weirdos know to keep their distance from me as they should.
I've never gotten an unsolicited nude from a woman, so I wouldn't know. I'm not convinced people actually send them.
Still have them.
Women don't send nudes unless you're a rock star or some millionaire NBA star and them surrats looking for child support checks. In any other normal situation, women don't send nudes. If you receive one, chances are you are being catfished by a guy.
I'm still waiting, so anyone fancies sending a few? Let's see what happens.
Nothing. This only happened as I was dating them, and I appreciated it.
They logged on to Reddit.
Never happened to me, so no clue.
She tried to get me to subscribe to her OnlyFans.
I just leave people on read when they do that.
How come no chick sends me nudes?
My first reaction was, what female sends unsolicited nudes? And then I remembered the unsolicited nude I got, and the crazy month and a half that came from it.
I must be ugly and stupid.
It was a girl I had relations with previously, usually to instigate something for the night. Is all of Reddit 16 years old now?
This happened to me twice with 2 different girls I knew. In both cases I responded positively and we started a situation of her sending me more nudes and sexting whenever she felt like it. I never asked for nudes from them. Both times it lasted around 8 months. In public we never said a word about it or flirted, and we never progressed in any physical way except one drunken kiss.
They bought a subscription.
A bot tried to sell me access to someone's digital self-pimping scheme.
I was talking with this girl for 2 weeks, I think, in IGBC. We all live in different countries and she kept a skin for my photos, and when I asked her WHT do want to see BC, she saw all my photos already. She said everything I said to her, be specific, what do you want to see, until she sent to me her boobs and asked for the same from that day. She keep and send to me until this day, and we love each other BTW.
It was a bot.
I didn't know this was a thing.
I've never gotten any sad face.
She just sent them.
I told my wife to stop sending her nudes to me.
This was a girl back in high school. She had a crush on me, obviously by the way we met and talked. We were just talking about random stuff and mainly sending each other memes when out of nowhere she sends me pic of her with no bra on and her underwear asking for my opinion if they're cute. I basically said yes, but nothing really happened, I think until a few months later, when things got a bit sexual between us, but I never really liked her as the way she did me.
She wanted nothing more than attention and compliments. She'd said explicitly on multiple occasions that she was not romantically interested in me. That girl was weird and surprisingly attractive.
A girl I had a crush on in high school reached out to me on Facebook years later. She had no interest in me in those days, but has fallen on rough times emotionally. We chatted on Messenger for maybe a half hour when boom, she sent me a picture of her boobs. She had gotten a boob job. I think she was looking for some validation.
My wife and I were in the shower. My phone went off and I asked her to check it as she was getting out. She freaked out at me when some woman sent me a picture wearing nothing but a bra. I laughed at it, realizing immediately it was spam. Apparently, that was the wrong response cause my wife thought. That meant I was doing a nervous laugh. I made her text the number, and when the replies started sounding robotic, I still got in trouble for all that somehow.
I woke up.
I received unsolicited female nudes. That's what happened.
Was surprised but told her you sent it to the wrong person. If I was intentional or not, but she looked good enough. She started an OnlyFans a few years later too.
I'd met a girl through a friend. We chatted a bit that night, exchanged numbers. She added me on Snapchat the following week, and sometime over the weekend, sent a bunch of nudes. Ended up hooking up with her and fooling around for a few months, got nudes randomly and regularly. Was great. Eventually it ran its course. I was sad when the nudes stopped. She just liked positive comments about her body, which was truly great, and really enjoyed requests.
Scams, I assume. I always block them.
That actually happens. Damn, I thought it was a myth.
Reply wrong, contact again, Mom.
Was a friend met from this one online game. We created a Discord server with our other game friends. But we also talk in DMS. Send me some and that's it. Never asked for more. We never talked again few months after the game died.
I wouldn't know.
You guys get nudes?
I got sent one and just replied with WTF. She was in one of my classes and she supposedly liked me. I was genuinely just weirded out by it and never spoke to her again.
If I receive unsolicited female nudes, I always assume it's a bot or a scammer, and I'm always right. I've never received unsolicited nudes from an actual woman.
This has never happened to me. I did get asked for a dick pic once. It was sent to me by accident, with a follow-up message on Facebook advising me of the mix-up.
I'm sorry, what? In what universe is it a thing? Women sending unsolicited nudes. And why is it not happening to me?
I woke up from my dream with her.
We were flirting and texting often. I was probably missing a lot of hints, as I always do. So she sent me a hint I couldn't ignore.
Received nudes from a cute coworker, who then wanted to and made plans to have sex with me. She wanted a nude back, so I sent her one. The next day she showed my coworkers the pic I sent and told this story how I was embarrassingly pursuing her and wouldn't leave her alone, without knowing that. Yet, I told her I wasn't comfortable with how it would look with me fooling around with a younger and newer staff, so I told her that I couldn't pursue this any further. She became more insistent to others that I was being some creep. I saved the pics with a time stamp of when they were sent and received and screenshots of me ending it and her, seemingly, being really respectful of my wishes. Once I heard she had been showing people, I got really uncomfortable and exposed, feeling like I had been inappropriate to everybody that she showed. Other than that, nothing bad ever came from it and I eventually, as far as I recall, deleted the evidence that I'd been holding onto to prove the truth had I needed to.
I wasn't into a girl who liked me, so she tried to gain my attention.
I guess I shouldn't be here.
Had a coworker send me her nudes. I didn't want to see her naked.
I assume it's some time of scam and delete.
I got to spank a coworker, She was in her late 20s, divorced. She has a fine body. It was a drink party, she drunk and naked. That was amazing.
I became very happy, T.
I fapped to it. As a man, I can't reject that.
Not nudes, but a classmate sent me pics of her in her underwear by accident once.
A friend of mine was sending some guy friend nudes. She thought they had a flirtation going on, but I could see from the screenshots she sent that he wasn't that keen, but also wasn't being direct about his lack of interest.
A girl I was talking to sent me some and I said, "Okay, now." Then she said, "I'm going to send them to someone else because I'm not getting the reaction I want."
It's a bot. I enjoyed them and said thank you lol. What you think it works both ways? Of course not.
From a girlfriend it's not. From a not girlfriend it's just as trashy as a pic is.
It usually happens with my Tinder matches after we get off the app and start talking on Instagram. And usually after that happens.
Looks nice, but I'm pretty sure you meant that for her girlfriend with a very similar name to me. Oh shit, sorry. Thanks for the heads up.
Told them it was weird.